things, and I'm sorry for interrupting.
No,
I wanted
no,
to make it really clear to the board what this does have an incredible amount of legs and possibilities for our community.
And then it's interesting that just based on certain areas that you go into, the amount of people that don't have access to transportation, that have to rely on other people. So the fact when we're like, well, we can assist you with things like this, it's very, very well received. Like, really, you would help us? And so that's where we're trying to keep, and then that's where we get the pet retention at home. So keep them out of the shelter, keep them back at home with their families, and then everybody's happy. So going into that with the mobile adoption events.
Yeah.
So the next thing that is really exciting with us is everybody knows we did our first mobile adoption event in Oak Ridge a couple weeks ago. That's where he liked to say it was a beautiful, balmy day.
Sunny, no rain.
Sunny, beautiful. It was just like wonderful. It was like 30 degrees and pouring down rain the entire day. There wasn't one break at all. And so our host, Alan Tate, was nice that with their building, they had a portico that goes around their building, so it was nice that people could actually walk into the portico. Our mobile adoption trailer, the one that opens up that looks like a pet shop, Juliet's house partnered with us, so they were able to put their cats in there. It was really cool because other people could, wasn't just limited to one person. Like 3 or 4 people could go in there and look at the cats, not only from the inside, but from the outside. And then Alan Tate was kind enough to let us bring our dogs into their building, into their offices, because the dogs are all very well behaved and vaccinated. And so people were able to come into the building and see the dogs inside there. So, and we also brought barn cats. So it's very exciting, despite the fact that it wasn't like every animal got adopted. We did get a lot of really positive, comments about it. And so our next event is going to be in 2 weeks on March 23rd at the Pig Pounder Brewery. So Pig Pounder has been absolutely super with us. They have offered us to, we can bring, their pavilion there is great. So we'll be bringing again the mobile adoption trailer. Juliet's house again is going to partner with us with cats. We're going to bring our dogs in, barn cats. And what's nice with Pig Pounder is that they're also a very dog friendly venue. So people can either, great, they can adopt their dogs, they can go have a beverage afterwards, they don't have to run home. It's supposed to be beautiful on Saturday, which is great. So yeah, and then, yes, yes, exactly. And so, and then a couple other things we do have, I'm sorry, it's gonna be 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So yeah, and so 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. it's supposed to be, let's hope, that it's supposed to be beautiful and sunny that day, and it'll be perfect for us. And then just to throw that, so other mobile events, on April 13th, I just want to say we're having a rabies and vaccination clinic at Animal Services in the upper parking lot. And so we're going to have adoptable animals available for some interactions and preview prior to opening up to the shelter. So we'll have those walking around as well. And on May 25th, the Piedmont Triad Farmers Market invited us out there Memorial Day weekend to do a mobile adoption event there. And they said there's going to be it's a really good weekend.
Cats.
The barn, yes, absolutely.
Farmers out there.
Actually, I'm going to be doing a special barn cat promotion, so, absolutely. And anybody that wants to email me about any tips or articles that people should understand about what it takes to get a barn cat and how to, get them, transition them, it would be greatly appreciated. I'll take any help I can get with that, just to educate the public, just as we know that people like to not read this much, just this much. And the last thing I want to talk about is, Jorge, and I know there's been a lot of questions about the software uploads.
Yeah.
Right? So, one of the things I do want to say is that we are currently working, it's not an easy fix where you just flip the magic switch and all these animals get uploaded to other sites. But we are working on Pet Finder, Adopt a Pet, and Pet Adoption Portal.
Wow.
So that stuff, those platforms should be up and running soon, I hope. It's just a matter of, it's almost like Animal Services is the middleman, and it's trying to coordinate on other ends. So once we coordinate on the other ends, we'll be using those platforms as well for adoptable pets.
Yeah, I was hopeful to have that going before tonight's meeting, but we have some folks that are out of town that are the ones that actually control the programming behind the science from our software. So hopefully by next week they have that up and running. And everybody will hear about it on Facebook, because as soon as it's live, we'll
blast that out. So, but that is something that is going to happen. I just want to throw that out there. It's just a matter of when. but it's more work.
As we were waiting on looking at what software we're gonna keep or not, go with or not, we just went ahead and decided to just go ahead and make those auto uploads available, so we don't have to consume staff time or volunteer time to just upload and download, because that's the thing, when you do it manually, you have to manually take an animal off the system. So this way, once the animal's available for adoption, it's auto uploaded, but we wanted to do multiple sites, not just one site. So it will be Pet Harbor, Adopt a Pet, Pet Finder, and this new
Pet adoption portal.
Pet portal piece too. So there will be 4 sites that we will have animals available on. So
Jorge and Lisa, could you comment on where we stand with the project at HPU and also obviously Roar over at Guilford College, just very quickly?
yeah, I think that the Roar program is just like it has taken off, and in fact, it's been so popular with the students at Guilford College that more students are interested in participating. Last weekend, we did not have any dogs on campus because of spring break. But since the weekend, we did orientation and we brought the students into the shelter and we did hands-on training, putting harnesses on and what to walk, and actually meeting those dogs in case those were the dogs going on campus. Ever since then, it's been a huge success. It's been a success for the dogs that are being viewed on social media and folks asking about these dogs. I wish I could say how many have been adopted.
I want to say after one event, after one weekend, which was I think the very rainy weekend, 3 of those 6 dogs were adopted that week.
Yeah. So it's working, and I think what we're finding out is that we can't always rely on the same 6 students to be available because life happens. So now we're going to be recruiting new students. We have an orientation coming up this weekend where we're going to also bring in more county departments as well, like our communications manager is going to be there, our HR department is going to be there. So it's a more inclusive orientation for the students / interns with this program. But it's been a huge success for I believe everyone.
I'm with Guilford College, and that's part of a program I run through Bonner, our Bonner Center, and it's hugely successful. And we're able to help our students get employment through federal work studies. So running the program through Bonner and as a student-run organization, it's hugely popular.
So we appreciate your help.
Yes.
We certainly appreciate
I
all the
have
students.
to,
at
I have to
Guilford
say
College.
that day I went to drop it was raining 30 degrees, and I'll tell you, I sat in that truck with the heat blasting. Those kids stayed out there with those dogs for about 2-3 hours.
The dogs loved it. They did.
I was surprised because I thought I kept looking at my watch. I think 15 minutes, they'll be back.
What about the HPU program?
Yeah, so again, this orientation that's coming on Saturday is also entailing the same thing with the photography piece. That's why our communications manager for the county is going to be there, and the bios, so the writing of the descriptions of the animals. And now that we're moving into the more of the social media adoption platform and making these animals available, we definitely want to improve on their pictures. We definitely want to improve on our descriptions. So Saturday is a very encompassing orientation that we're having, and that's why we're bringing human resources and we're bringing in communications department to kind of get everybody on the same page.
So then we'll be breaking out into 2 different sessions, and then we also have our volunteer coordinator that's helping us with other volunteers. So it's going to be actually a big orientation event on Saturday. So we're really excited about it.
Lisa, thank you so much. Jorge,
Yeah.
you're up.
Animal control, Keith. Well, we know Keith was sitting in the truck Saturday morning.
Everybody else is freezing.
You got that status. Go ahead, Keith.
We did 1,159 calls, 0 positive rabies cases, 54 animal bites, and 6 RTO. So we did return 6 animals in the field to their owners. So the guys are doing it. They are scanning and they are returning animals with microchips back to their owners in the field.
Were those dogs that you returned or cats?
Yes, ma'am. All 6 were dogs.
All dogs.
Yeah.
Thanks, Keith.
And then for shelter numbers for February, we had 196 dogs and 89 cats at the beginning of the month on February 1st. We had 289 canine intakes, 154 feline intakes. Out of the 289 canine intakes, 158 were strays, and 76 were relinquished by owner. And out of the 154 feline intakes, 120 of them were strays, and 26 were relinquished by owner. Live outcomes, we had a total of 259 canines and 96 felines. Out of the 259 canines, 164 were adoptions, and 54 of them were transfer out. With the felines, we had 81 adoptions and 10 transfer out. And on the euthanasia for canines, we had 24 canine euthanasias and 33 feline euthanasia for the month of February. And ending population on February 28th was 188 canines and 110 felines. So the new animal shelter stat, like I mentioned last meeting, zoning did pass, so we got the new property rezoned, so we're moving forward with the design. The building currently is at 30% design. That 30% design has been submitted to facilities and to the county. We're still meeting with the architects and civil engineers and mechanical engineers and all those other engineers on a regular weekly basis, so the plans itself is moving forward. Right now I've asked for the large drawings of the plan so I can start sharing that with staff now that the building is back on track, so that way I can start getting staff feedback, ideas, suggestions on any tweaks or any ideas that we want to change on the plan. So the new shelter is the plans itself are moving forward. With Susie's fund.
Excuse me a second, you might want to
sorry.
mention also what you're doing with the Department of Agriculture to try to make sure.
Yeah, so I have been working with the Department of Ag now that we know we're going to be moving forward. Want to make sure that we're meeting, as we continue design, that we're going to meet any specs, any regulations. The last thing I want to do is build a new facility, and then during our next inspection, we just put the wrong materials, whether we put some wrong wall where there's going to be animals holding we can't disinfect, or your exposed wood or anything like that. So working in partnership with the Department of Ag to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's as we develop the design. Thank you for bringing that up. With Susie's fund, we saw 11 animals were candidates for Susie's fund in the month of February, totaling approximately $9,500, which leaves us to $75,300 left in that fund.